Yo, I want to talk about something that I am dubbing the semi-comfortable dilemma. And this dilemma arises when you have goals to reach a certain place, goals to achieve, and but you're still semi-comfortable with where you're at, semi-comfortable with the things you're doing on a daily basis. And this is something I've been struggling with more and more and more as life has been getting better, as I began to do more and achieve more. I've been starting to get more and more comfortable and happier with where I'm at, which I'd like to say isn't a bad thing at all, but it's keeping me from working as hard as I should be towards goals. And I'm sure, other people are dealing with this, so I wanted to make a video about it and just kind of question how to really get out of this. And I don't really have an answer for you, but that's what we're going to work through in this video. Maybe I'll find an answer as I wrestle with myself and my own thoughts. So I kind of started to know this so last year, my life was pretty ass. I didn't really do much with it at all. And I got so uncomfortable with where I was at that I made a drastic change in my life. And this is some change I'm so grateful for. It made me who I am today, and I, I'm so grateful for it. But now I'm at the point where this that I'm very happy with where I'm currently at. I have things I'm not doing that I should be doing. I'm not making as much progress as even close to possible, but I'm still making progress. But I'm still, taking one step at a time, doing well, doing well in school, still going to the gym, still spending time with God, things like that. And when I began to think about it, it's like, if I have goals of one, let's say I have a goal of making a lot of money, right? But I'm not in a place of financial hardship. How do I get myself motivated enough to make that change for the better, right? To put in the amount of effort and grinding and effort and grinding that it'll take to make a ton of money, to start a business, to do all that. How do I guess, rationalize that with myself of this needs to happen and make that switch in my brain of this has to happen when I'm not struggling? I have a decent amount of money in my bank account. I am not uncomfortable at all. I'm fortunate enough to have a family who is, we do great. My parents are able to help me out with college, and so I'm not struggling. I'm not struggling at all. When it comes to the gym, I've had this for a little longer than, this issue with the other goals. But I mean, I look fine. My physique is not bad at all. So I don't sit here, I'm not a fat chud. So I don't sit here and think man, I need to change. Man, I need to change. I can't be sitting like this anymore. I'm super unattractive and fat and what, I don't look bad, right? I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. Let's see what else spiritually, right? I don't read my Bible every day. I definitely should be reading my Bible every day, but I still spend time with God. I still am praying. I don't feel disconnected from God. So how do I push myself to do the most when doing some is not making me feel uncomfortable? Like I'm not happy with where I'm at. It's something I've been struggling with for a while because my goals are up here, but I'm living here, and here isn't down here where it's like I can't be here. So I'm like, oh, I'm okay here, but I want to be up here. And so I think the method for this is making yourself uncomfortable with where you're at. And I might be wrong, but bringing your self-image up to the level that you're currently at and saying, I need to be higher than this. And when those two become finally separated, because I'm happy with where I'm at, that's where my self-image is at. I see myself as, I do pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy with where I'm at. But I think that disconnect needs to be there. It needs to be, wait, I'm not where I need to be at yet. And more grinding should occur, if that's the best way to put it. So I don't know. It's gonna take a lot of thinking, but I wanted to make this video. I wonder who else out there is struggling with this, and if there's anyone out there who has fixed it, right? Anyone who, you see all the time online, it almost feels like the guys who had nothing all of a sudden achieve everything. The guys who were homeless, who had no money, who were, down in the dumps completely. You see it on social media all the time. Guys who quite literally came up from nothing, and they're the ones who seem to be doing the most. And so I don't know. I spend a lot of time thinking, like, how do I do the most while already having a good amount? I'm so fortunate. And yeah, I don't know. It's so easy to go back to the comforts of our lives as well. When you have things that make you feel like you're accomplishing things, like video games, and when you have, things that are just kind of taking away your energy for the day. How do we continue to work? How do we continue to work? How do we continue to go farther and farther and farther? And when I look towards my future as well, it's not something that's uncertain for me. I'm in flight school. I am going to go on to be a pilot, and pilots make a good amount of money. Like, life isn't going to be rough. Life isn't going to be a struggle. I'm not trying to figure out internships and how do I get a job out of school and all this kind of stuff. Like, I kind of have a plan, have a path. And once again, how do I work hard enough to reach my goals when my goals are kind of already going to be met? Like, I have a plan to just fly and buy real estate and save that up through my life. And I should, retire with an ungodly amount of money. If I did my calculation, right, obviously that's not going to be perfect, but it won't be too far off. And so the more I think about it, it's like, why? Like, I want to have a good amount. I want to be financially free right now as a 19-year-old. There's some of them, but that's a pretty rare thing. But I still feel like I should be working, right? I still feel like I should be doing something that, like, trying to create an online business of some sort. I could go work a job at wherever, but it's not going to ever take me anywhere. I can go work at a restaurant and whatnot, which I'll do over the summer. But I'm not going to be like that's never going to leave me anywhere. And I know how online money works. I know, I've been around, I did crypto for a while and tried some other stuff, but never really put full effort into it. And yeah, man, it's like, not only is my life good right now, I know my life will continue to be good unless something crazy happens. And honestly, like, if God takes away, my path, if God takes away, like, the things I have in my life and says, no, you got to do it yourself, then I'm sure I'd figure out how to do it myself. But how do you get done the things you need to get done, or the things you want to achieve? Not even need. That's the issue. It's not a need. When you need to do things, people tend to get them done. I fully believe that everyone is capable of soaring to heights they never believed they could. Simply, when they need to, when staying the same becomes so unbearable that you have to change. I think everyone can do it. I think everyone can totally change the person they are. But how do you change when it's only a want, when I only want to get somewhere? I don't need to get somewhere, but I want to get somewhere. I don't know. That's another thing. Like, it's not even working for my future. It doesn't feel like working for my future. It feels like just trying to get somewhere quicker than I will, right? Trying to be at a level that I'll be at anyway. When it comes to money, when it comes to my fitness, I could be in the gym every single day grinding and whatnot. I'm on a bulk right now. I should be in the gym every single day, so I'm actually putting on the amount of muscle that I can be and not taking on as much fat. But once again, if I'm semi-consistent and I'm semi-comfortable with being semi-consistent, where do I go? Like, what do you do? It really is that comfortability, like, that that will force people to change, and that will force you to change. If you're unhappy with your life and you can't stay the same anymore, I promise you will change. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I hope it changes, honestly. I don't wish my life to go down into the dumps, but sometimes I find myself hoping that it wasn't as good as it is. Sometimes I find myself hoping that, I wasn't as fortunate as I am, that I wasn't as blessed as I am, honestly. Like, I feel like I've been so blessed in my life with the family I have, the people around me, the talents I've been given. All are great things. I feel like I'm underperforming most of the time when I sit here and look at, what has God blessed me with. I have the ability to do so much more than I am. But if I'm doing decently, then, like, how do you make the gap between decently and really good? I mean, that's already a crazy gap. It's way bigger of a gap than people realize. But how do you make that gap feel like the gap between horrible and decent, even horrible and decent, or horrible and great? So I don't know. I don't wish for my life to just go to shit, but sometimes it's like, to achieve what I want to achieve, it almost feels like sometimes I have to do that. I don't know. I think it's a mental barrier I need to fix as well, but that's part of what this video is, coming on here and just trying to talk myself through it, and I guess anyone else who wants to listen. So I don't know, but whatever. That's pretty much all I have, and offer anything you guys got in the comments, whatever. But peace out.